Everyone on YouTube is showing you a $500 tiny home and pretending that number means anything. It doesn't. Today we're breaking down what a tiny home actually costs in 2026, what you really get for under $50,000, and the hidden costs nobody talks about until you're already stuck with the bill. Stick around because the last option on this list is the one most people get completely wrong, and could quietly cost you $15,000 more than you planned if you don't understand how it works. Before we get into it, hit subscribe here on Home Intel so you don't miss the videos where we break down real numbers on real builds, no sponsors, no fluff, just what things actually cost. What counts as a tiny home? A tiny home is not the same as a small home. A small home can stretch close to 1,000 square feet. A tiny home is typically under 400 square feet, and a lot of the most popular under $50,000 builds sit somewhere between 100 and 280 square feet. That distinction matters because the smaller the home, the higher your cost per square foot climbs. A full kitchen, a bathroom, plumbing, insulation, and electrical all still have to fit in that space, and those systems do not get cheaper just because the house got smaller. The real price ranges in 2026. Most tiny homes on the market right now land somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000, with a national average sitting around $45,000 to $52,000. Cost per square foot typically runs $300 to $400. That sounds deep until you remember every tiny home needs the same core systems as a full-size house, just compressed. There are three main paths to get into a tiny home under $50,000, and they are not interchangeable. DIY shell kits. This is the cheapest entry point. Basic framing and shell kits typically run $5,000 to $20,000 for the structure itself. The catch is that these kits usually do not include interior finishing. You are buying a shell, and you are responsible for plumbing, electrical, insulation, and interior build-out, either yourself or through a contractor. If you're building on wheels, add a heavy-duty trailer on top of that, which runs $4,500 to $9,000 or more depending on capacity. If you have construction experience, this route can get you a finished home for well under $50,000. If you don't, budget significantly more time and money than the sticker price suggests. Prefab and move and ready builds. This is where most of the popular under $50,000 tiny homes actually live. In the $30,000 to $50,000 range, you can find move and ready prefab units with a functional kitchen, a full bathroom, a sleeping loft, and basic appliances already installed. This is the most active price band in the entire tiny home market right now, and it is genuinely where the best value tend to be for anyone who isn't doing the labor themselves. You are not guessing whether the plumbing was done correctly, and the price you see is much closer to the price you pay. Custom builds. Custom builds have the widest range of all, starting around $25,000 and climbing well past $200,000 depending on size and finish level. This is the option people get wrong most often, and it's exactly where that $15,000 swing from the top of this video comes from. Someone shows you a custom tiny home advertised at $45,000, but that number is almost always the base configuration. The moment you add a different window layout, upgraded appliances, a different roof line, or extra storage, you're into scope creep, and scope creep on a custom build moves fast. $15,000 in add-ons can disappear into a custom build before it's even delivered, without a single change feeling like a big decision in the moment. If you go custom, get every requested change quoted in writing before you approve it, not after. The cost nobody puts in the headline. This is the part that catches almost everyone off guard. So pay attention here. The advertised home price almost never includes land, permits, or utility hookups. Site prep, meaning foundation work, utility drops, and permitting frequently adds $10,000 to $20,000 on top of the base price. And if you are hiring a contractor for any part of the build, labor typically accounts for 40 to 50% of your total cost. That $50,000 tiny home you saw online can easily turn into $65,000 or $70,000 once land prep, permitting, and hookups are added in. This is exactly why we always tell you to look past the sticker price and ask for the full breakdown before getting excited about any number you see in a headline. Is a tiny home under $50,000 actually worth it? Here's the honest answer, and it depends entirely on what you're trying to solve. If you want a primary residence with zero compromises, a tiny home is going to ask you to give up a lot of space you're used to, and the cost per square foot means you are not actually saving as much as the total price suggests. But if you're looking for a guest house, a rental unit, a home office, or a way to add living space to a property you already own, the math changes completely. In that context, $30,000 to $50,000 for a fully functional additional structure is genuinely one of the better value plays in real estate right now, especially compared to a traditional addition, which can cost 2 to 3 times as much for the same square footage. What we'd actually recommend. If your budget is firm at $50,000 or under and you want the least risk, the prefab move-in ready category is where we would point you first. You know exactly what you're getting. The systems are already installed and tested, and you're not exposed to the labor cost swings that come with custom builds or the time commitment of a DIY shell kit. If you are comfortable with hands-on work and want to stretch your dollar further, a shell kit paired with your own labor or a part-time contractor can get you into a finished home for less, but go in with your eyes open about the time commitment. If you do go custom, treat every single add-on request as a real cost decision, not a small tweak. And whichever path you choose, get a full cost breakdown that includes land prep, permits, and utility hookups before you compare any two options against each other, because comparing bare sticker prices is how people end up genuinely surprised by their final bill. The tiny home space in 2026 is full of impressive-looking numbers that don't tell the whole story. $50,000 can absolutely get you into a real, functional, well-built tiny home, but only if you understand what that number does and does not include. Know the category you are shopping in, ask about every hidden cost up front, and you will end up with a home that actually matches what you were promised. That's the real breakdown on affordable tiny homes under $50,000 for 2026. If this saved you from a headline that looked better than it actually was, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Home Intel for more honest, unsponsored breakdowns on everything home related. We'll see you in the next one.